This podcast contains strong language and adult themes. Listener's discretion is advised. Hello, and welcome to A Page Too Far, the show where each week one of us reads a book and then tells the other all about it. Will it be good? Will it be bad? Let's find out together. My name is Apex Furian, and this is my co-host, Fire Dash, the Pyro Fox from the Forest Planet.
How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Did I say my name is Apex Furian?
Yes.
God damn it, I meant to say I am an Apex Furian.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes more sense. That makes me feel a little better.
Yeah, the problem is we have a template for our intro, and
you just copy and paste it.
Plug in what we add, and I didn't actually change the wording. I just plugged in Apex Furian.
Yep. So let me ask you about that. Do you copy and paste that template every time?
I don't copy paste. I just have the document and I just edit it.
Oh, I type it out fresh every episode.
Really?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have a reason why.
Yeah.
I used the template before, but now it's usually that I think it's usually because I'm in a hurry, because I will have read, I usually summarize notes chapter by chapter.
Right.
And I will have read a chapter, have it fresh in my mind, and want to get it down. And then I'm just like, I don't remember where I saved it, so I'm just going to type it out real quick and then type in the chapter notes.
Okay.
What am I, a Firefox that...
You're Fire Dash, the Pyro Fox from the Forest Planet.
Fire Dash, the Pyro Fox from the... That seems like a bad place for a Pyro Fox.
Yeah, it seems a little weird.
A Forest Planet?
So I ripped that from a Cyanide and Happiness cartoon.
Oh, okay.
Because I was trying to think of what's a really good, like, some kin name.
Yeah.
And then I remembered their cartoon. I was like, oh, he rattled something off. I got to write that down because that was funny.
On all levels except physical, I am a wolf.
Yeah. Okay, so this week's book is called Red Hot Furry. It is written by Casey McKenzie. It is an action fantasy novel.
It's Casey with a K, by the way.
Yeah, with a K. It's very cool. Action fantasy, but it has a dash of romance in there. It was published in 2010 by Ace Books. It is 337 pages long.
That's a really long book for like a regular episode.
Yeah, it is. What does the book look like?
Cover, I don't know how to describe this except that it's like the generic action shot of a character where the camera is like...
It's the Kubrick stare.
Yeah.
It's the head down looking past the eyebrows.
Yeah, exactly. Camera's at an angle above them. But it's a woman in a very tight red leather outfit with a snake tattoo and green eyes. But I don't just mean like her irises are green. I mean like her actual eyes are glowing.
Yeah,
like green, which I didn't notice before. And then there's like a red light behind her, but I don't know what it's supposed to be.
So I didn't get this at all looking at the cover, but do you see the blackness around the red?
The
background?
Yeah.
Those are wings.
Oh.
So the red is like backlight.
Oh, and the black are wings.
The black is obscuring that light.
Yeah, that doesn't look like that at all.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like she's standing in front of a black canvas with a red light source on it.
Yeah, but no, those are wings, I guess. So,
interesting.
And what's great is, or what I found out reading this book is that this is not what the character looks like most of the time.
Oh.
This is basically the main character going Super Saiyan.
This is her final form.
Yes, this is her full power form.
Huh.
And she normally has blonde hair and blue eyes. She normally doesn't wear red leather.
Yeah.
But when she transforms, her clothes transform.
Interesting.
And she's wearing tight leather, and she has raven black hair, black wings, and green eyes. I'll try to recall as much as I can.
Yeah.
But every minute that we talk, I remember less about the book.
Right, exactly. So we should just go ahead and jump in.
Yeah, let's jump in. Red Hot Furry. From this point on, when I say Fury, I'm actually going to say furry.
I was going to make that joke, and then I was going to make that joke in a way that I was going to say, this is what I think every time you say it, and I'm only going to say it this once.
Right.
So you're doubling down on it, which is good for me, because,
Well, because there's pretty much furries in this story, so every time she said Fury, I thought she was saying furry.
Oh, okay, cool. All right.
So our protagonist is a furry named Riss.
Riss.
Riss is short for Marissa.
Yeah, it's fine.
Everybody calls her Riss, though.
It's not the worst nickname I've heard.
So furries are furries are guardians who protect all creatures from magical attacks.
Oh.
So they normally protect normal, non-magical people, muggles, against magic folk, because magic folk are usually the ones doing the magic attacking, right?
That would make sense.
Yeah. But she also protects magic people if they're being magically attacked. So
just kind of a shield to guard the world.
Yeah, basically, that's the job of the furries. She refers to the two groups of people, magical and non-magical, as the arcanes and the mundanes.
That's fair. I like that.
Pretty clever.
I like that. Yeah.
Furries are... I love it.
It fits.
Furries are marked with snake tattoos.
Okay.
Right?
Yep. Left shoulder.
2 snakes. Right?
Oh, okay.
Always 2 snakes.
Is it the same 2 snakes? Like, is it the same tattoo, or are they disguised in different ways?
They look pretty much the same.
Okay.
They differ in color.
Okay.
So there's 3 different classes of furries.
Ah, so you're going to get into that. Okay.
Well, I'm not.
Well,
because they don't have any impact on the plot.
What?
No. So at the beginning, the main character explains that there are 3 classes of furries, and she is one of those classes.
Okay.
Her tattoo is red. The other 2 are blue and green, I think.
That tracks.
And the different classes have different ways they do their job, right?
Okay.
So the red class, and they all had names, I don't remember. But,
yeah, that's fine.
But the red class primarily works with mortals.
Oh.
In the mortal plane.
Okay.
And then the other ones will be like, oh, we work in magical realms, or we work in the accounting section of the organization, that sort of thing.
I'm in HR.
So the snake tattoos are called amphisbaena. Amphisbaena. And they essentially are familiars. They're magical creatures that reside within the body of a furry. And they have kind of a symbiotic relationship. They can reinforce a furry's power.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Okay.
They have a lot of jobs. They're kind of like unicorns.
Sure.
They do a lot of buffing for you. They increase furries' supernatural healing factor by like 5-fold or something.
Oh.
One thing that happens a lot in the book is that these amphisbaena ground her. So if she's under a psychic attack,
they'll help her get back into
reality.
In the real world.
Yeah.
Okay.
So they're extremely helpful. They're a lot like Goa'uld from Stargate. So
I've still never seen Stargate.
Okay, I forgot.
Yeah.
So there's a race of people who are essentially human, except they have a sac in their stomach, and there needs to be a Goa'uld, which is a little slithery alien thing, in there.
Mm.
And if they grow up with that and then you remove it, then they die. But the Goa'uld helps them heal. They're immune to all poisons and toxins. You can't mind control people that have little Goa'uld in them.
Oh.
Very useful, but if you lose it, you're dead.
Right.
So yeah, it's just this little familiar that will look like a tattoo, and when they're summoned, they come out as real-looking snakes.
Okay.
And they stretch and move and stuff. A couple times she's fighting, and it says she grabs the snakes and throws them, but they don't detach from her. So I just imagine like a lasso, just like, and then they bite onto something.
Yeah. It's like Scorpion's chain that comes out of his palm.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so Riss.
Yeah.
Our main character.
Yep.
She is the city's chief magical investigator. So Riss is regularly involved with murder investigations and the like, right?
Sure.
So the book starts with her being called to an investigation. So they have a body of a woman. She has dark hair and she's completely nude. It looks like somebody just dumped the body, right? So Riss starts inspecting the corpse.
As you do.
Yeah. And she turns the corpse over, and she uses magic to do this. To contaminate anything.
You're still contaminating it by moving it, but...
A little bit, but she flipped it over without touching it, basically. And she noticed that it had a furry tattoo on it.
Oh.
The amphisbaena.
Yeah.
But it was wrong.
Oh.
It wasn't like any tattoo she had seen. It looked flawed, right?
It was a tattoo that somebody got at FurryCon.
Yeah, kind of like
there's a guy.
in the back.
Yeah, exactly. There's a guy in the back alley who's like, "Hey, you want a tattoo?"
Basically, and then when it comes out, only one of the heads comes out. He looks drunk.
Yeah,
Like,
just says, "Kill me."
So she notices the furry tattoo, and that makes her very angry. This is something about furries, is they get pissed off a lot.
Oh.
As the name would suggest, right?
Yeah.
And so she gets really upset because one of her sisters have died. That's another thing about furries. They're all female.
Oh,
right?
okay.
There's no male furries. So she's pissed off. It's one of her sisters has been murdered. And this is a big deal. There's not a lot of furries in the world.
But is she an actual furry? Because her tattoo's wrong.
Well, she must be. She has the tattoo, right?
Do they not know how tattoos work?
Anyways, the furries are kind of stretched thin.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of them left.
Yeah.
And they don't happen very often, if that makes sense.
Sure.
It's not really explained how they come about, but their powers just manifest when they're going through puberty. Puberty. And it sounds almost like Jedi.
Yeah. I was going to make a joke later.
I'm not exactly sure. There's a lot about this story I'm not exactly sure about.
Okay. Sounds like you're really invested.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm really invested in the story. Like, the first chapter or two is very interesting to me, and then I just slowly lose interest.
Right, yeah, and that's the state that you're in now. Recounting it is you know where it's going, so the excitement level is.
And there's a lot of there's so much world building and lore dumped in the first chapter that is just not utilized.
Okay,
so that's why I'm having trouble recalling it, because it doesn't play a part in the story. So I'm just like,
here's the world we're in.
Yeah, I think that's how it was.
Yeah.
So anyway, she rolls over the corpse and sees after she's seeing that. So I probably did this in the wrong order, but she sees the tattoo, then turns it over.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, you did say it in the wrong order, but that's fine.
I'm sorry, but
it's
anyways,
okay. It doesn't matter.
She sees the tattoo. She turns the body over, and she recognizes her.
Oh,
it's Vanessa Turner.
Miss Turner.
Vanessa was one of her best friends ever.
Oh, so she was a real furry.
She was a real furry.
Okay.
And she had gone missing 3 years earlier.
Found her.
Then, like, 2 pages later, she learns it's not her.
Oh.
Yeah.
Never mind.
So, what she does is she tries to use a spell to get some trace clues on it or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Kind of vague, but she's like, I'm going to do a spell, and it's going to help me learn where the body was or something like that.
Yeah.
But the spell fucking backfires and, like, hits her really hard, like kind of rebounds and like shocks her really bad.
So she determines that the way she's focusing the spell on Vanessa is what causes it to backfire because it's not Vanessa. Is that right?
Yeah, kind of.
Okay.
It's what she finds out is that the body is glamored. Glamored means it's magically disguised.
Oh,
so this is used in fantasy a lot.
They cast minor illusion.
Yes.
Or major illusion.
Yeah. So anything that is a magical illusion is called a glamour.
Okay.
And so this body was glamored to look like Vanessa.
Right.
But it wasn't. Oh, I also made a note here because Riss says something incredibly fucking stupid. So when she still thinks it's Vanessa,
right,
she's confused because the body looks somewhat fresh. And she says there's no way the body's been floating in the water for 3 years. And I'm like, why would you think it was floating in the water for 3 years?
Yeah, she disappeared 3 years ago, so that means that must mean that she died 3 years ago.
And has been in the water for 3 years.
That's the only option.
What? What?
Yeah.
But she realizes it's not Vanessa, and so they take the body to the morgue, and she goes back to the station.
Mm-hmm.
So she talks about something called a mandate. This is a magical thing. So since they're investigators, if there is an investigation that is really dire, like really, really, really goddamn important, then the superiors, her superiors, which are called the elders, will cast a spell called a mandate. And when that hits a furry, they cannot give up on the investigation or do anything but investigate until it is solved. And the longer it's not solved, that mandate acts like a little buzz in the back of their mind.
Oh, yeah.
And then it gets stronger and eventually turns into pain. And if it goes on for a long time, they'll die.
Oh.
So it's like I believe they die. Again, if I'm wrong, it's because I can't fucking hold on to any of the info on this goddamn story.
That's a terrible system.
It's not great, but so that's what that hits her right as she's gonna leave the scene.
Okay, yeah, they're like, yo, this is important.
Yeah, so she's like, well, I'm in it now. I got to see this through, even if it kills me.
She was gonna do that anyway. I like to think because it was disguised as her best friend.
So, the mandate seems pretty goddamn important, right?
Yeah.
Throughout the story, that's going to be pressuring her, and she's going to be like, "Oh my god, this is getting worse. I need to think. I need to get through this." Right?
Well, by the way, you're saying that yeah, that's super important.
It literally doesn't come up again.
Oh my god, add it to the counter.
Ding. Okay, so I'm gonna say this. It is mentioned again.
Okay.
But it doesn't come up again. So, like, she'll mention the mandate, but it literally has no impact on the story whatsoever.
So she'll just like say to another character, "Hey, I have a mandate," or something like that. But you never get the sense of like the pressure in the back of her mind.
There's no urgency. There's no urgency.
Yeah.
There's no discomfort. She never thinks about it. She refers to mandates as if it's something that's not happening to her. Mm-hmm. Like it's something that has happened in the past. And she's like, oh, last time there was a mandate, this happened. It's like, there's this feels like something that was like an afterthought after she wrote the book. She just threw that in there.
I mean, well, to be fair, if you showed me this book and said, hey, Sparky the Wonder Fox, if, I refuse to keep the
Fire Dash.
I refuse to keep that knowledge in my head for some reason. And I can't think about why.
I wonder why.
If you showed me this book and said Fire Dash, there is a magic system in this book, and there are very potentially strong magical tools that can exist in this world. And you asked me, based on the cover of this book, how consistent and how coherent that magic system is. I would have said not.
So yeah, at this point in the story, this is the end of the first chapter. She gets hit with this mandate. I am in this ride.
Yeah,
I am like, that is a great setup to like have this thing that there's a ticking clock element.
Exactly. And
it's going to get harder the longer it goes on. I like this.
We can't get the bus below 30 miles per hour.
I liked everything up to this point except for the line about her being in the water for 3 years. That didn't make any sense. But everything else, I was like, this is great. I'm in this. So,
smash cut too.
She goes back to the police station, and she is immediately suspended without pay.
Oh, nice.
Yep, out of nowhere. And she is aghast. She was like, I have never been suspended. Like, I've done way worse things than what she did, which was do the spell on the body. That was unauthorized.
Oh.
She had to get clearance to do that first. But she was like, it's a furry. I'm going to do this with permission or without permission.
Well, why didn't she just ask for permission first? I mean, if they say no, then do it.
She needed answers now. So she gets suspended, and she's like, I've done way worse shit. Why am I getting suspended, right?
Yeah.
And she loses her badge and gun because she's suspended, right?
Just so you know, if you go to your boss and they say, you're fired for doing this, and you say, I've done way worse stuff than this.
Well, they know she's done worse stuff.
Yeah, I know, but that doesn't mean...
Well, she has a rapport with the captain. They've known each other a long time.
That doesn't mean anything.
I'm clearly going to excuse it. It's not realistic, but I'm going to excuse it because that happens in a lot of stuff.
It's not the worst trope.
No, it's a reliable trope, whatever. I'll let it pass.
Yeah. I'm a loose cannon cop on the loose.
So she is talking with another person at the station whose name is Trinity. They're partners.
Oh. She's
like the human counterpart to her stuff.
Well, actually, Trinity became the one in the latest.
I don't want to talk about that. I really don't want to talk about that. But anyway, she's talking with Trinity, and Trinity is like, there were some feds in here earlier talking about you. I don't know what you did, but you've attracted the attention of the higher-ups, and that's why you're suspended. It's not the captain doing that. It's the captain's bosses. Like,
yeah.
Like, what the hell did you do? And so...
I'm being framed.
And so Riss is like, well, I uncovered the glamour, which means that was a crime likely done by an arcane person. Right. Now, there's a little bit of history where there was a war between the arcane and the mortals.
Ask me if I'm surprised.
And they had some accords signed. Peace. Oh. We're not going to fight anymore.
Nice.
You know, mortals will stay on their side. Arcanes will stay on their side. We'll just coexist. So if an arcane person murdered a regular person...
Yeah, that's against the accord.
Violation of the accords. So the fact she discovered that, she thinks there's someone pulling the strings in the mortal realm to make sure she doesn't keep digging. right? And she also is like, or it could be some really clever mortals too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because magic is open to anyone willing to learn in this universe, basically.
Oh. Why would you ever not?
Well, the mortal people seem to like not even give a shit about arcane stuff. They're just like, yeah, whatever. I like my guns and cell phones. So,
I mean, but you can still have those.
Yeah, I don't know. Whatever, dude.
Remember what I said about thought out?
There's way worse stuff in here. I'm just like,
again, that doesn't make it better.
So just then, she's walking towards the entrance to the station. So she's going to walk out because she's like, I got stuff I got to look into.
So she'd be walking towards the exit.
It is also the entrance, but yes, the exit. Mm-hmm. And gunfire erupts through the exit.
Oh.
And she gets hit with a bullet.
We'll go into the entrance. Does she have an entrance wound? What about an exit wound?
The portal to the outside world. She gets hit in the chest with a bullet.
Ow.
And she's down.
I hate it when that happens.
And her little snake buddies immediately go to work healing her, right?
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, because you said they speed up like the healing factor.
Yeah. So they go to work doing that. Trinity is like, holy shit, she pulls out her gun.
Nice.
Is going to fire, but she doesn't see anyone. It's literally a bullet came through the door, and she doesn't see anyone outside. And so fucking Riss heals up super quick, and then she unleashes her full furry form.
Okay.
So she's got the wings unfurled.
I knew this was going to happen.
She's in hot red leather.
Yeah.
She has black hair and green eyes.
Does she have a whip for some reason?
No, she never has a whip.
Okay. I mean, look, that's good on you, book.
She doesn't have a weapon for most of this book.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Once she does have a weapon, she uses it once and like never again, I think. So she goes full furry mode, and just then Trinity is hit with a bullet in the thigh. Mm-hmm. And so she gets Trinity out of the way with her super speed, and then she zips out the door and flies around looking for the shooter. And it turns out he's on a building like a distance away.
Yeah.
He's a sniper. So she comes down the roof, and the guy is like really surprised and ill-equipped to handle her because he's apparently just a regular mortal man.
Oh, just shooting up a police station.
He's just a dude. So he can't do anything against her. She just grabs her rifle, bends it in half, and then she's about to grab him, and in like super quick, like as soon as she grabs his weapon, he jumps off the roof.
Oh.
And dies. He just splats on the ground.
Oh.
And she's like, wow, that's a certain level of fanaticism there.
Yeah.
Where you're willing to do that to keep the cause, alive. So he's like, this is an operation. This is a big thing that this guy's involved with, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And someone's out to kill me. Like, suspension wasn't enough. They're trying to kill me. That's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not possible that he was just shooting up a police station.
So she doesn't really know what to do next. Without her badge, her investigative power is limited. And if she starts poking around, she's going to get into more trouble. She's going to lose her job, possibly.
Yeah, this is tech war.
Yeah, basically. So she's not exactly sure what to do. So she decides she has to talk to the elders because they'll know what to do. They're the wise ones. There's a really stupid line in here. Okay. The author has some flavors to her writing.
Okay.
That I don't particularly enjoy.
Sure.
One of them is she loves to name drop her favorite movies. And it is so out of place.
It's DeNozo and NCIS.
Yeah, it's really out of place. It's out of character for the characters to mention them.
Yeah.
But basically, the main character is explaining the elders to the person reading the book.
Okay.
She's like, I gotta go see the elders. Think Angelina Jolie and Maleficent. And I'm like, why did you?
That just means, so, okay. Okay, I have thoughts about this.
Okay.
From NCIS, right? So I used to watch that show a lot.
Okay.
My parents loved it. We owned like the first 10 seasons on DVD. They do a thing where they will have a plot of an episode echo a movie that exists.
Right.
And then one of the characters, Anthony DeNozo, played by Michael Weatherby, will comment, he's a movie buff in the show.
Yeah.
And he will comment, oh, this is just like whatever movie. But that doesn't excuse, like, calling out that what you're doing exists in the form of a movie so that you get a pass on the fact of people calling you like a copycat,
right?
Because you just copied the plot of this movie, doesn't excuse the fact that you just copied the plot of the movie. all it does is say that you can't, as a writer, and I'm not saying I could do a better job,
right?
But all it's saying is that you, as a writer, cannot separate the fact that this thing exists that you enjoy and you want to put that into your show,
right?
This is a very similar situation, except that she can't discern her own characters. She has to explain her characters in such a way that she gets her mental image of the character, which is obviously inspired by whatever movie she's seen and enjoyed, which is totally fine, but she doesn't have the words as an author to describe them in a way that is unique to her.
But that's the only one that it really felt like that. The rest of the time, like at one point she says, "As you wish," and then in like parentheses, she's just like, just like the Princess Bride. And I'm like, why are you putting that in there? That's so fucking, that's way too wink wink. That is way too, that's over the line.
That tirade I just went on?
Yeah.
Never mind. It's just incompetence.
Yeah, no, it's just, that's great. You like those things.
Yeah.
You're pulling
this isn't a fanfic.
You're pulling me out of this book really
exactly.
hard. It's really hard.
Come on. I mean, I guess it is. I mean, any book is a fanfic because you're creating those characters.
Yeah,
but
basically. So she has to get to the realm that the elders exist in. And I forgot to, there it is. It's called the Palladium. I think it's an element.
Yeah, palladium is an element.
I'm not sure what else a palladium is, but she calls it the Palladium. So in order to get there, only those who are bonded to Amphisbaena and are moving faster than a Fury can.
Okay.
So furries have a top speed.
Right.
So you need to both have the snake tattoos and you need to move faster than that.
They need to go 89 miles per hour.
But yeah, and then you see some serious shit. And that's the only way to enter into their realm. So what she does is she goes to the train station, she jumps onto the caboose of a train, hangs on until that train reaches top speed.
You're joking.
And then she jumps backwards and her Amphisbaena complete the connection to this pocket dimension. I'm not joking.
If you jump backwards, wouldn't you lose some of the momentum?
Shut up. That's what she does. So she goes through the wormhole and enters the Palladium. And and throughout this book, she can change her appearance at will.
Oh.
She has a little bit of that glamour power herself.
Yeah.
So not so much that you wouldn't recognize her. It's just so that she changes her outfits and she changes how her eyes look sometimes, that sort of thing. So she enters the Palladium and she is met by, I don't think I wrote her name down once in all of my notes. Her name was like Stacia, I think. But anyways, she meets her mentor.
Mm-hmm.
She's one of the elders, and she's the one who taught her how to be a furry.
Yeah. We're just going to leave that statement alone.
So she's talking to her mentor, and then they go, and she's like, "Hey, I have information that could be vital." So they go to the council or whatever. It's like 15 elders around a table, and apparently there's a lot more elders, but a lot of them are not there at the moment.
Oh, they're concerned about the droid attack on the Wookiees.
Basically, yeah. She goes in and is like, "Those Wooks need some books."
I feel like you shouldn't say that.
Those Wooks?
Yeah.
Is Wooks a slur?
I don't know, but like it sounds like one.
Kind of does, yeah. That would definitely be in Star Wars.
Yeah. I also just remembered Leia's autobiography is "The Crook, the Wook in Me."
Oh shit!
Yeah.
She's allowed to say it because she's
he swore the life debt.
Yeah. So it's
it's cool.
She's got the card.
Look, her best friend is a Wookiee. Go.
So the elders, once they hear all this stuff, they're like, "We're not going to act on this because you have very little information."
Yeah, the only lead jumped off a building.
Yeah, like literally, one person shot into a police station, like you said, and there was a body with a glamour who almost anyone could have done.
Right.
So that's not enough. You need to find something real for us to do anything about this, right? Like, since that was a glamored body, we don't know that a furry has been killed.
Right.
So we're not going to act like one has.
Okay.
Vanessa went missing, but they're like, missing is not dead. She could be in hiding for all we know. We don't know why.
I gotcha.
So we're not going to act like she's been kidnapped or murdered yet. So Riss needed to find proof of her theory, right? The problem was that there's assassins after her, right?
Yeah.
So she needs help. She can't be on guard of every minute of every day. She needs someone. And there was only one person she could trust.
If it wasn't for that smile.
The one person she needed.
That dang smile.
Was her ex, Scott Murphy.
Oh, the night that Scotty Murphy died is a night I'll never forget.
I rolled my eyes so hard when I read that. So she goes to where Scott is, which is the Murphy family is a group of mercenaries.
Mercenaries?
Mercenaries who are what are called warhounds.
Like the devil dogs.
They're basically werewolves.
Oh.
I was going to say, they're like werewolves.
Okay.
But they're called warhounds. So she goes to their mansion place where they operate out of, and she hits up Scott. Scott's like, "What the fuck are you doing here?"
Hey.
So the Riss reminds me a lot of Yennefer from the Netflix show Witcher.
Oh.
I haven't read through all the books, so I'm not exactly sure if she's similar. But she reminds me a lot of Netflix, where she throws her weight around. She acts the part. She's like, "I am a powerful sorceress, so I'm not going to be talked down to or anything like that." So that's what she does walking into this place. They're all like, they all recognize her scent, and they're like, "Oh, you're Scott's ex. What the fuck are you doing here?"
I'm just flashing back to the bees.
And so she starts throwing her weight around because the warhounds are fiercely loyal to the furries. I'm never getting tired of this joke.
I hate it.
They're fiercely loyal, so they would never attack furries.
But they're just like, what are you doing here?
Right. They're just not happy she's there.
Yeah.
And so she's throwing her weight around as a furry, and she's like, "Look, I need your help, and you're going to help me because you guys are warhounds, and that's what you do." And Scott is like, "Okay, but it's double our normal fee."
Oh, no.
And she's like, "Oh, the elders are flipping the bill, so sure."
Are they?
Well, she says that throughout the book. It never comes down to like the elders saying they're going to pay, but she says that to everyone. It's like, she just throws money around like, "Oh, whatever. Tell the elders to put it on the tab because they're the ones footing the bill." It's great. I like it. So Scott does some computing, and he learns that there's contracts out on her. Not only are there contracts out on her life, but harpies have taken the contracts.
Oh.
Harpies are some of the most dangerous of the arcane I almost said animals. I mean beings. Arcane beings.
Arcanimals.
Arcanimals. I mean, everything else is a fucking animal, so I guess they are too.
Yeah.
They're like bird people.
Bird person.
And so he's like, harpies are after you. What the fuck did you do? Like, you have the most expensive assassins in existence after you.
And my fee is now tripled.
So she has an idea. And she's like, she knows a spell where she can commune with the dead. So she's like, we need to go to the morgue where the not Vanessa body is and commune with the spirit inside of that body, right?
Sure.
And figure out how they came to this being that way, right?
Yeah.
But she's not allowed in the morgue. She's suspended. So she has Scott and some of his guys sneak her in there. And so she does the spell, and she starts chatting up the spirit. Turns out the spirit is of a Sidhe.
A chew.
I think that's how it's pronounced. Sidhe. It's Sidhe.
Okay.
And it's basically an elf. But they're the most magical of all the arcane beings.
Oh.
They're very powerful. So the elf, they're supposedly wiped out during the war before the peace accords.
Right.
They're extinct. But I guess not, because this is one that died recently.
Well, that doesn't mean they're not extinct.
True. They could now be extinct, but this one was alive very recently.
Yeah.
So she's questioning it, like, how do you exist? And she learns that they existed, but they were hidden and stuff. And there are other elves, but she was the last true elf. The other elves are technically clones.
Oh.
She's like, we went to the mortal government for help because we're infertile. We can't produce anymore. We don't know why. So we figured the government and the different corporations with their technology could help us with this.
Yeah.
So they started cloning them.
Ah.
But then the program went a little bit off track. And they were like, maybe we can create hybrids of arcane creatures and other arcane creatures, or even mortals. Like the possibilities are endless. So it went a little bit off the rails. And that's when their conversation kind of gets cut short by approaching footsteps outside the door.
They Jurassic Worlded it.
So Riss hides. She uses like a magical camouflage in the corner of the room. And feds walk in. Those fucking feds.
It's always feds.
And they're talking, and she realizes they're talking about her.
Convenient.
Yeah, and they're like, where did she go? We're looking for her. We want to kill her. All the convenient plot stuff you need to know.
Yeah. I have a gun, and I want to use this gun to put this bullet into her head right here.
I want her heart to stop, see? I want to see her head on my desk, see?
Look, come morning, see? All you're going to do is... I don't have
want to sleeping with the fishes, see?
Sleeping... No, that'd be Italian.
That would be. My apologies.
Luca Brazzi sleeps with the fishes.
So they mentioned during this little thing that they are planning on going after Riss's family.
Oh, nice. I mean, that would have been my first thought.
Right. And so her family being... I forget exactly how it works, but she has a niece. So she had a mom.
Okay.
I don't know why I'm saying it like this, but...
she had a mom.
She had a mom.
Ma! Look at his cat, Ma!
Her mom was also a furry.
You're right.
It's a generational thing. Yeah. And she...
Who do you think showed her how to... Never mind. We already know.
She went missing 20 years ago.
Her ma did. Oh. So there's just a slew of disappearing furries.
Right. And she assumed she died. Which is what everybody assumes.
That's her problem.
Like...
She's assuming everything.
Literally every person that disappears, everyone's like, I guess they died. Anyway, moving on. So her mom disappeared 20 years ago. Her dad drank himself to death out of grief.
No, he drank himself to disappear out of grief.
I think he actually died.
Yeah.
I think they found his body.
I'm sure they did.
And she had a brother named David, right? Oh. And David is just a regular old-ass dude. And he just kind of doing his thing. And David had a daughter, and that is her niece. So they were talking about going after her niece. Because they're like, easy target. We'll kidnap her.
We're going to niece
her out. Yeah, exactly. So later, Reese is like, we need to go get my niece right now.
Yeah.
Because so they go to where her niece lives with her sister-in-law and her brother. And her sister-in-law is like, get the fuck out of here.
Fair.
You just bring trouble.
Yep. And she's there to bring more.
Right. And she's like Aunt Petunia. She just hates magic shit.
Yeah.
It's like, get the fuck out of here with that. And once Riss learns that her niece's name is Corey, by the way.
Oh.
Once she learns that Corey is not there, she's at softball practice, she takes off. It's like, we need to hurry.
Yeah.
So they get to softball practice, and Reese gets Corey and is like, head for the van, because we're getting out of here. And just then, 3 men show up, and they're in suits.
Ooh.
They look like the feds.
Yeah.
But then Scott is like, I'm not going to let you by. And they start beating the shit out of him.
Nice.
Scott's a warhound.
Yeah.
He's really good at fighting.
Yeah.
And so, there's a line there that's so funny. It says he was like disarmed like 5 times. And it's not like play by play during the fight.
Right.
It's literally, Riss looks over and she's like, he's not fighting with weapons. He always has weapons. And then she says she sees 5 different metal glints in the grass around him. And she's like, they must have disarmed him 5 times. And I'm like, are you fucking serious?
That's funny. That's actually really funny.
I don't know if it was intended to be funny, though.
I don't think it was, but...
It was more like, oh shit, this is serious.
Yeah, exactly.
But
exactly.
It's really funny.
That's hilarious. That's like, it's a play on the trope of the place your weapons here, and they just keep pulling out other weapons.
Pull out shit and then losing it immediately.
Yeah. That's great.
So he's kind of getting hurt here in this fight.
Yeah.
So she runs over. She transforms into her full furry form.
Yeah.
So these guys that they're fighting with, one of them grabs Riss and mesmerizes her with some magic ability, right?
Yeah.
And tells her that you want to please me, don't you? And she said, yes, I want to please you. And he's like, it would please me greatly if you murdered that guy over there. Talking about Scott.
Oh.
And so she's being a little mind controlled here for a second. It turns out they are some of the elf clones.
Oh.
because that's a power that the Sidhe, the elf guys have.
Yeah.
Is they can mind control weaker people. So they managed to fight him off. Well, not fight him off, like kill them. So they make sure Corey is safe. They take her and the family to a safe house, like safe location. And then they all go back to the Murphy mansion area to regroup and like heal and shit. There's some drama between Riss and Scott.
As happens. Yeah.
I'm not going to go into any of it.
How could you be disarmed 5 times?
So Riss, this is a part of the book I really cannot fucking remember, and I didn't really make notes because she runs into the mother of the Murphy clan.
Mama Murphy.
Yeah, Mama Murphy. Yeah. And then they talk for a bit and they walk, and then somehow she ends up where this guy called Andre Carrington is.
Okay.
And Andre Carrington is kind of an important character. So basically, Vanessa, Riss's best friend, who was a furry,
right, was
dating Andre Carrington.
Oh, okay. When she disappeared?
Well, before.
Okay.
And then Andre Carrington was like a psycho, I guess, and was super possessive of her and controlling. So she breaks up with him, and then she disappears.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So everybody's like...
he totally did it.
Yeah, fuck you, Carrington, you creep.
Yeah.
So he just kind of gets that blame, whether he did it or not. And Riss and Scott broke up because Scott's family, they're mercenaries. And they went to work for Carrington.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And they're like, well, it's a job. We have to do it. And she's like, yeah, you're working for the guy who probably murdered my best friend. I'm not okay with that.
Yeah.
And for Scott, it's like, well, my family comes first. This is our livelihood. We've always done this. This is what we're doing. And the job was protection. It wasn't like doing any dirty work for him. It was literally just we're protecting him because he paid us to protect him. That's all. I don't remember what he was being protected from, but it's not relevant.
Death.
So that possible harm. and so that's why Riss and Scott broke up. So she ends up in front of Andre Carrington. And she's like, I need some information. I need to know what happened to Nessa. And I think you did it. She's pretty blunt about it.
Nice.
She's like, I think you did it. And if you didn't do it, then you know who did. I need the info. And he is super, super smug, arrogant, because he knows she doesn't have the power to really do anything to him at this point. I mean, she could kill him, but then she's kind of like on the run, even more so now. Like she has both sides after her. Also, Mama Murphy believes that Andre is holding Maya captive. Maya is one of the family members.
Oh, okay.
So Maya Murphy.
Yeah. And Mama Murphy, Maya Murphy, Scott Murphy.
Yeah, and she disappeared.
And Andre Carrington.
And she was like, I'm pretty sure that scumbag has her captive for whatever reason.
Yeah.
So that's why they're both there talking to him. And then Maya shows up.
Well.
And she's dressed very elegantly and sexy and has a ton of makeup on. And she kisses Andre in the cheek. And he's like, well, we're together. I'm not holding her captive. She's here of her own free will. And what they both kind of learned, because they both knew Maya, Andre didn't, we come to find out. But both of the other, Mama Murphy and Riss, were like, she's gone through a drastic personality change. She doesn't
Maya has.
Yeah, she doesn't act like she did. She's a completely different person. What happened to her? And then almost immediately, Riss realizes there's things about her that are wrong. The hair color is not exactly the right shade. Her skin is much too light. She had darker skin. And then she is just like, oh, it's another fucking elf. And she's right. It's an elf glamored to look like her.
Oh.
And then Andre is like, what the fuck? And then Maya is like, what? What are you talking about? It turns out that she is an elf glamored, but she was also kind of brainwashed to think she is Maya.
Oh.
But she doesn't have Maya's personality. She just has her regular personality, but she thinks she's Maya.
Huh.
And they're like, why the fuck would someone do that? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
But then they're like, well, where's the real Maya?
Does it matter?
Well, they figure that the reason that these glamored elves are showing up is because the real people are being kidnapped and they're being replaced.
Right.
So that nobody goes looking for them.
Right. Except
they're doing a terrible job at it.
Yeah, because Maya disappeared from the family for how long?
I don't remember.
For an extended amount of time.
Yeah.
And ended up with Andre. Just have her disappear.
I guess. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, as soon as they found out that Maya was still alive with Andre, she's uncovered as an elf.
Yeah.
Just disappear her.
Well, yeah, I don't know. It's not great.
No, it's not.
It's not great. But that's the scheme that's going on here, right?
Yeah.
So Andre, upon learning this, isn't bothered much. He's like, well, I mean, I really
fell in love
with
you.
Yeah, it's like, I still like you, so whatever you are,
yeah.
I don't care. But then he's like, Riss, I will give you information as to Vanessa's whereabouts if you vow to me, and your vow should cover like your whole people. So like you have to vow to me as a representation of the furries that you nor any of your sisters will ever harm me or come after me for any reason at all.
No.
Yeah, she's like, that's a horrible deal. I'm not doing that.
What do you mean? That just gives you license to shoot me in the face with no repercussion.
Exactly. She's like, you could do anything and we wouldn't be able to touch you. And he's like, yeah, that's right. But how bad do you want to find Vanessa?
Not that bad.
Well, she ends up.
Yeah, I know. I know she does. I'm fully aware she does.
It's a really stupid deal. But so then Andre goes to a little like, it's kind of like a secretary's desk with like the roll top.
Yeah. Roll desk.
He pulls out a BlackBerry.
All right.
And he says, this is a magicked BlackBerry that tracks Vanessa wherever she is.
That's creepy.
Yeah, that's exactly what Riss says. She was like, yeah, no wonder she broke up with you. You're a fucking psycho.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but it'll probably come in handy for you right now. So that's what he gives her. The problem is the tracking device only works within 5-mile radius.
So she has to scour everything.
Oh, she could be anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
Like that's essentially useless.
Yeah.
So she's like, you're a fucking asshole. And he's like, yeah. But he's really smug now because she just vowed never to lay a finger on him.
I would have put a condition on that vow, but yes.
He wouldn't let her. But anyway, she made a stupid deal. And that's what she got, was a tracking device that's useless past 5 miles.
Oh, no, trust me. The condition is tell me or your legs are going to be hitting the ground from about 6 stories.
Yeah, she could just kill him and be like, nobody's going to know about the stupid vow because you're dead. Like, it doesn't mean anything if you're dead.
That's true. Then you're breaking. It's how much is your word worth to you.
Yeah.
But like what I'm saying is you don't even have to make the vow. You just have to carry him up to the top of a building and hold him over until he confesses. Otherwise, his kneecaps are going to be entering his skull at 60 miles an hour.
So back when Reese was communicating with the other elf in the body, she took...
In the morgue.
Yeah, in the morgue. Mm-hmm. She took a lock of hair and a chunk of flesh from the body.
Okay.
Because she's like, as long as I have some of the hair and flesh, I can communicate with the spirit.
Okay.
I guess.
Sure.
Kind of out of nowhere, but whatever.
A little bit.
It's magic. Who cares? So she has that with her, and then she calls up the spirit right there, and she's like, we found another one of your fucking clones. Like, what is going on here exactly? You need to explain more about this. And this is kind of, I think I talked about it before, but this is kind of more about like the magical clone army they're trying to create, these people or whatever. And that these glamored clones were replacing people so that they wouldn't. Oh, and this is so fucking stupid. So the spirit of the dead elf sees the glamored elf, and she can see through the glamour because they are the ones doing it, so they can just see through it whenever. And so she's like, Maya? But it's not Maya, M-A-Y-A. It's Maya, M-Y-A.
Mya.
So... An elf named Maya
was cloned, glamored to look like a human
named Maya,
which would make the brainwashing easier because you don't have to overwrite the name.
I guess, but I was like, what? Like, that's like from The Office.
Yeah.
Like the dentist named Dentist.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I became a dentist. I don't know. It's just so fucking weird. Like, you couldn't... whatever. So later, when Riss is with Scott, more drama. They're in Scott's room. There's a weird thing about how the mama's like, you'll be staying in Scott's room.
Okay.
And she's like, what? Why? You have a whole fucking mansion. Why can't I stay in someone else's room? And then later, Scott is like, why do you think anyone would want you in their room?
Yeah, that's fair.
Like, people are out to kill you. You're a Fury, and a lot of people aren't big on Furies because they're always angry and they're always irritable and they're not friendly people.
Yeah. look, you're a terrible person.
You're a bitch. I'm glad I broke up with you. So she goes into the bathroom for some reason, and then a harpy attacks her from behind.
Oh.
Great. Ambush.
Yeah.
She can't fully transform into a Fury with this thing on her.
Why?
And I don't know. But she uses her snake missile to attack her a little bit.
Okay.
And then Scott transforms into his warhound form and attacks as well, and they kill the harpy. Right.
So was he not in warhound form at the softball park when he was being ambushed, or when the 3 men in suits showed up?
No,
because they didn't want mortals to know about.
But mortals know all about these arcane people.
Okay.
So
that's what I was gonna ask.
I think he was surprised because they just look like feds. So he went up.
This didn't surprise him.
Well, he heard the commotion in the bathroom, so he had time to transform.
I mean, how
okay, let me put it this way. He wouldn't have had a good chance against the harpy in his base form.
Okay.
He had to transform.
Yeah.
Because harpies are mean as fuck.
Right.
So they kill the harpy.
Nice.
And in the whole, so the fact that a harpy got into the mansion means that they were betrayed.
Yeah. Like
there are powerful wards on this mansion. So one of the family let her in.
It was Vin Diesel.
No, he doesn't turn his back on family.
He does, and then he doesn't.
Does he?
He doesn't.
I haven't seen the movies, so I don't know.
Yeah, he does for like 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then he comes back and says, you don't turn your back on family.
Yeah.
And they're like, but...
what about... Yeah. He's also... Oh my gosh, it's perfect, because he's also a Furian.
Yeah, that's...
well, I mean, I recognize the joke from the beginning.
Okay,
but yeah, so he doesn't turn his back on family.
Right. Wasn't there something about him being like... Or a alpha?
He was an alpha Furian, but all of the...
God damn it. That ruined my whole joke with the setup.
It did. It did. Your joke is a dud, and it also did. But he is the only male Furian.
Alive.
Right, because the necromongers killed.
Right. I'm really upset I fucked that up.
Would kill him. Yeah, it's a little sad.
I'm really sad.
It's a little... Do you want to do the intro again?
No, I'll just put this bit in, because I'm fucking sad now. So Scott says there's someone they could talk to who might know what's going on. They're a Fed. But he's like, we can trust this Fed.
I'll bet you can't.
So they go, they seek it out. They seek her out.
Oh.
Her name is Harper. And I was like, Harpy?
Yeah.
Harper?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah.
I just want to say.
Choose better names.
Yeah, no, the naming shit in this is terrible.
You got Maya and Maya, Harpies and Harper.
For instance, in order to find Harper, they go to Government Center.
Great.
They don't go to a government center, not the government center. They go to Government Center. I think this was a placeholder, and she just forgot.
Government Center Incorporated.
Yeah.
Here for all your government needs.
I genuinely think she meant to change that later and didn't.
Yeah.
That really sticks out.
Yeah.
And
is it capitalized or is it?
Yes.
Interesting.
It's a proper name.
Interesting. And
when they catch up to Harper, they find her. She's kind of at a distance, and she is with Scott. Scott's with Riss.
That's not Scott.
That's not Scott.
It's an elf named Scott.
And
with one T.
They say that. They're like, hey! And then Harper is like doing triple takes here. And then the fake Scott is like leading her away when they yell.
Mm-hmm.
And then she kind of runs with her a bit, but she's fighting now. She's like, one of these is a fake, and I'm not going anywhere until I figure it out.
Just transform.
Transform?
Just Scott. He's a warhound. Just transform. That proves that it's you.
You're too smart for this book. So the thing about Harper is that she's a cat. Now,
cat lady or just a cat?
She is just called a cat.
Oh.
But she's a warhound, but she's a cat.
Okay.
So she's a war cat, I guess.
Yeah.
She transforms into like a cat beast. But they just call her a cat. They don't give the race a name. It's just cat.
My friend calls his cat a cat beast.
I like it. I like it. So she transforms to fight this fake Scott.
Yeah.
And then once Riss gets into the battle and they duke it out, and then it takes Scott fucking forever for him to transform and then get into the fight.
Bruh.
But anyways,
you have one job.
They fight this elf person off and they run away. They escape.
Yeah.
Also, Harper is an old lover of Scott.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
And Riss thinks that's hilarious because he's a dog and she's a cat.
I agree.
It's okay.
It's funny.
Fuck, I forget a lot about this part. But basically, they decide that they have to go to talk to one of Scott's other contacts.
Mm-hmm.
It's a man who is a good friend of his father. And his name is Red. And they find him in a club at the top of a big skyscraper, and it's like an old honky-tonk bar.
Oh.
It's blasting country music, and Riss is like, this isn't a club. And Scott's like, what? Just because you don't like the music, it's not a club? There's people here dancing, there's music, drinks, it's a club.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Riss complains about how much she doesn't like country music. You know, who the fuck asked you, Riss?
I mean, I'm with her.
Like, who asked you? So they meet up with Red, but during the meeting, they are attacked by a bunch of people in like combat gear.
Oh.
And it turns out these people are phoenixes.
Oh. Is Harper with them at this point?
I don't remember.
Okay.
I don't remember.
So I shall refrain from asking any further questions.
I don't think she was there. I don't remember her being there.
Yeah.
But anyways, Scott and Riss fight. There's 7 of them.
Okay. Seven phoenixes.
Yeah, and they learn they're phoenixes because when Riss does a move called
Mokan Kosopo.
It was something judgment. It was probably like Furious Judgment or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's she lashes out with a wave of like black energy.
Okay.
That is one hit kill for whatever she hits.
Sure.
And it takes a lot of energy out of her. But she's like, there's 7 of them. We're not going to win. I'm going to do it. And she kills almost all of them instantly. One survived, but was like mortally wounded. And that one is just kind of like laughing at her. And she's trying to get information, and it's like the fucking Joker thing. You punch and they just laugh harder.
Yeah.
And then the person starts glowing.
Oh.
And Riss is like, God damn it, it's a fucking phoenix. That's when she realizes. So they try to run to get out of there, but it's kind of a big room. So she has to use her wings and grab the 2 other guys to like go faster. And the thing about phoenixes is if you don't kill them right away, they can blow up.
Oh.
And then revive themselves out of the ashes.
Oh. Why don't you just kill him?
She could have just fucking taken her head off right there.
Yeah. What?
Whatever. It blows up, and they get out pretty badly hurt.
Maybe it's a thing where once it starts, it can't stop. So even if you kill it, it'll still explode.
Yeah, it's like a Voltorb. It's just gonna happen.
Yeah,
you can't get away from it. So they're hurt pretty bad, but they get out of there alive. But they recover somewhere. I think it was back at the Murphy Mansion.
Sure.
And then after that, when she's fully healed, Riss and Scott go to a place called Gunmetal Alley.
Love it. All about it.
It's in an area called the Belly.
Less enthusiastic about that.
The Belly is the underbelly of society.
Oh man. Oh, original.
So they go to Gunmetal Alley to meet someone that Riss knows. It's a goblin named Alazar. So this goblin is a weapons dealer.
Figured.
And she's like, I had my gun taken away by the detectives. So
why didn't you come here first?
Man, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I'm sorry. What do you think? I read the book or something?
No, I think you are doing a fantastic job being the punching bag for the author.
Yeah, I don't know. But she finally gets around to getting some weapons.
Yeah.
And it's weird. She gets weapons for Scott, but he has a shit ton of weapons.
I mean, more weapons is never a bad thing, especially when the elders are footing the bill.
Yeah, I guess. And that's exactly what she says.
I figured.
She was like, I only want the best because the elders are footing the bill.
I am paying attention.
And she gets a really, really, really nice handgun.
Nice.
There is a thing that made me really upset where she says that it's a magical weapon. They're all magical weapons, of course.
The guns are. Okay,
yes,
okay, yeah.
Of course. But she gets the magical weapon, and she explains to I think she's with Trinity at this point.
Okay.
Trinity recovered from the gunshot.
Right.
But she's also like...
Trinity's human, right?
Yes.
How long has it been?
It's been... I don't think it's only been a few days, or like maybe a week or something.
I have no concept of how long it takes to recover from a gunshot to the thigh.
Anytime she recovers, it's like a day. I think the Phoenix explosion took a little...
But Trinity, I mean.
Oh, Trinity.
Because she was shot in the thigh.
Right. Well, she's not like 100%, obviously.
Okay.
But she's mobile.
Okay.
So
I still think it'd be more than a week.
Right. I think you would be in the hospital for like a month at least.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know, but yeah.
It definitely hasn't been that long. I know that.
And I definitely wouldn't be going out on a case.
Right. But she meets up with Risk because she's like, everybody's after you. We're partners. I need you to come clean with me. I need to know what's going on.
Drugs. It's always drugs.
And so anyway, she's there with him. And then Riss explains to her, like, this is a magical weapon. And that means there are non-lethal rounds and there are lethal rounds. Now, here's the thing. Lethal rounds take twice as much energy to shoot than a non-lethal round.
No.
So that's her logic. But here's the thing. Because it takes twice as much energy for a lethal round than a non-lethal round, that means if you shoot 2 lethal rounds, that equals 3 non-lethal rounds.
1 + 1 does not equal 2. Because the square root of 2 is not 1.
I read this and reread this and reread this.
Yeah.
I'm like, I must not be getting this.
Yeah, there's something that you're missing, but no.
It's literally what it says. It's all there is. It's just like, she explains that lethal rounds take twice as much energy as non-lethal. That means if you fire 2 lethal rounds, that's 3 non-lethal. I'm like, what? And then Trinity says something about like, oh, damn, all this math shit. Like, it's really fucking hard. Oh my God. So they have weapons now. And on the way to meet the goblin, she runs into an old friend of hers named Charlie.
Ah, good old Chuck.
Charlie is a giant.
Oh, good big Chuck.
An actual giant.
Yeah.
He's over 8 feet tall.
Oh.
And they're super, super close. And she's like, hey, I'm in some deep shit. And she didn't even know he was still alive.
So they're super close.
Something happened. They had to part ways in the heat of battle or something. And
so it's just like every other character that in this book.
Basically, yeah. And so he laid super low. And to the point where she didn't even know he was still alive.
Yeah. At least Tech War gives you a reason because he was in suspension for 5 years.
Well, listen, the author's trying, okay?
Are they?
I feel like she is. I feel like she's putting a lot of effort in this book.
Okay.
I want to give her props, okay?
I believe you. You're the one who read it.
So she's like, hey, I could really use some help. Like, you're a huge, you're worth like 5 of those elf douches, right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, some of, she kind of like tells him about what's going on.
How do you know he's not an elf?
It's a really tall elf. And he's like, hey, we've had like 2 of our giant kin kidnapped. So hell yeah, I'll ride this out with you. Like, I'm in. And some of my giant buddies will also help.
Yeah.
So she's like, awesome, more firepower. And then when she goes to Goblin, she gets a bunch of weapons for the giants, right?
Oh, nice.
Yeah. She's looking out for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, the elders are footing the bill, so like, who cares?
She's like a friend who just got the tax return. Like,
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
On me.
Do they say, because you mentioned lethal rounds taking twice as much energy as non-lethal. Do they say like capacity? How much can it hold and stuff like that? Or how does it?
Yes. It said it was 300 non-lethal rounds.
I'm not going to pay attention to that.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, but I mean, like,
we're gonna
like,
get to that.
What's the difference? How do you reload? Do you reload?
Well, she does explain that it's a magical weapon, so you have to kind of inject your own magic to recharge it. So so
once Triss is out, not Triss, Trinity.
No, Riss.
No. She gave the gun to Trinity.
No, she didn't. She just explained the gun to her. That's it.
Oh,
she didn't give it to her.
Oh.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. She didn't give her the gun.
Oh, okay. So she's just like, oh, this is a magical gun. And then explain how this magical gun worked to this person who theoretically, because she's on the police force, should already know.
Well, she doesn't. That's the thing. Trinity doesn't really know a whole lot about magic. She just, that's why she's partnered with Riss.
That seems like an oversight in the law enforcement.
You know what? There's a lot of questions, and I'm sure if we read more of the author's books, they'd be answered. But after they get the weapons, they run into Maya.
Mm-hmm.
And Maya is like, I need you to come with me. There's something very important.
I need you to come with Mia.
And they just do.
Oh.
She's an elf agent, and they just go with her.
Okay.
And they end up in it. So I'm going to be perfectly honest. I started skipping pages.
Yeah, I would have too.
They end up in an elevator.
Uh-huh.
And then there's a woman in the elevator.
Yep.
And she's just grinning creepily at them as they enter.
Wonder what's going to happen here.
And they still get in with her. I would be like, I'll catch the next one. I'll take the fucking stairs. I'm not getting in here with you. You're fucking grinning at me, creepy.
Yeah.
But they get in with her, and then they quickly Riss realizes she's a sorceress.
Okay.
She's a very powerful sorceress.
Oh.
And she is charging up a spell to kill them all.
Oh.
And she already set runes on the ground to disable their magical abilities so they can't transform, they can't do anything.
They can shoot her with a gun.
That's what Riss does.
Hey!
She pulls out her gun and she was like, I bet you can't stop this bitch. And she she doesn't empty. She fires like a dozen
150 rounds.
She fires like 150. And then the sorceress stops all the rounds.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So yeah, enough. So much for that.
Dodge this. Okay.
She dodged it. Oh, what? There was a great line from the movie Monsters vs. Aliens, I think.
Wow.
The president pulls out a Desert Eagle and he says, "Eat lead, alien scum," and fires, and it does nothing. And he's like, apparently they eat lead. And it's a great line. And I like that movie.
I haven't seen that movie since it came out. I remember enjoying it, but...
That's literally the best part of the movie because it's Stephen Colbert as the president.
Nice.
And
my gosh.
all the best gags are given to his character.
Of course.
And it's great. So they're kind of fucked. But in shooting the sorceress's spell, so she had to stop with the attack spell.
Right. She's not focusing on one. She's focusing on blocking the bullets.
Started a blocking spell, and then it kind of destabilized it.
Yeah.
And it was whipping around the elevator shaft, or the car. And so she's like, at this rate, we're all going to die, including her.
Great.
So, but that was enough to waver the thing holding back their magical abilities. Because I guess she had to focus on that as well.
Even though there were runes on the ground.
I said runes, but I don't know if they were runes or not. I just said that because that's what it reminded me of.
Oh, okay.
There was patterns on the floor.
Okay.
But it could have just been her ability. I don't know. But that kind of weakened enough. So Riss can summon enough of her magical energy to create a barrier to protect them from this magical storm.
Does she include the sorceress?
No.
Great.
She's like, fuck the sorceress. We're just going to try to survive this. And they do, and the sorceress dies, and it's all good.
Nice.
Riss then finds out just like very soon afterwards that the sorceress was paid by someone in the Sisterhood of Furries.
It's never not funny.
It's never not funny. But so basically one of her own.
Right, yeah. So they were betrayed by somebody in the werewolf mansion. They're betrayed by somebody in the furries.
Mm-hmm. It's all over the place, man. Yeah. So there was another traitor to worry about. At some point.
Okay.
Because even when I was writing these notes, I immediately forgot what I had read.
Oh.
But at some point, Riss meets the Harpy Queen.
Oh.
And I believe what it was she was chilling out somewhere, and then Harpies grab her out of nowhere and fly her
Did they Anne Orlando her?
Exactly, yeah. They fly her somewhere, and she's like, I might be dead. Because I don't know what I'm going to do. And then she comes face to face with the Harpy Queen, leader of all of them. And the Queen says they will rescind the contract, or reject it or whatever.
Yeah.
If she helps them find a couple of Harpy that were abducted.
Hey, I'll bet the government's got them.
This is you might have noticed, this is kind of a recurring thing.
Yeah, they've taken a little bit from every race.
Yeah, a race is, comes to her and it's like, you need to help us.
Yeah.
The people have been abducted. And then it turns out there's a traitor amongst that group of race people. And then that happens over and over and over. Yeah. And I've written here, mortals just pissing everyone off.
I mean, it do be happening.
Yeah, that's the way it is. So back at the Warhound compound, love saying that.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Riss is attacked by Trinity.
Oh.
So Trinity is with her in the room. I think she's there for protection or something.
Clearly.
My notes get very sparse from here on out.
I can tell.
Anyways, Trinity attacks Riss out of nowhere. And Riss can tell she's being controlled. There's like nothing behind her eyes. She's just acting.
Yeah.
And then... And then Mac, who I didn't put in the notes at all up to this point, because he didn't do anything up to this point. So Mac is part of the Murphy family. He's married in.
Mac Murphy. Oh, well, never mind.
And Riss doesn't know what he is.
Oh.
She's like, he's not immortal. That's obvious. But I really have no idea what he is. He has really bright, vibrant green eyes.
He's a snake person.
And
like those eyes?
They're not exactly like those are glowing eyes, but his are just vibrant.
They're just green. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's something about him. He just knows what's up somehow.
There's something about.
Yeah. And so she's like, I need to keep my eye on him. He doesn't feel dangerous.
My green eyes.
But he's seems like he's up to something. And so he is there controlling Trinity.
Oh.
Dun, dun, dun!
It's Mac.
He was the traitor of the Murphy family.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
This is wow, what a great character.
And he rolls up his sleeve to reveal 2 rainbow-colored snakes and a tattoo on his arm.
That's against the rules.
It is against the rules.
Yeah.
It's shocking. It defies everything that Riss knows.
Which isn't much, to be fair.
It isn't much, but that's how it shakes out, and then she falls unconscious.
Oh.
But she wakes up in a room with Trinity.
Is he like, I am all the Furies?
No, he was...
okay.
He was... I don't think he said much. He just revealed the tattoo and is like, you dumb bitch.
Fair.
Something like that. I don't know. But she wakes up in a room with Trinity, and it seems like a locked room. It's like a wooden cabin room. And in walks Riss's mother.
Oh.
Who had disappeared 20 years earlier.
Yeah.
And then...
Does she have a baby from the mountain?
Well, she did have a baby.
Oh.
Not with her at the moment.
Yeah, is
but
it Mac? It's Mac.
God damn it.
So, look, this book is not deep.
So she... I was hoping to spring that as a reveal, but okay.
You didn't even introduce the character until just now.
I forgot to go back and write him in the notes.
Yeah, look, we've all been there. It happens. It's fine.
But her mom sits down and is like, hey, I got abducted.
I'll ask surprised.
Okay. Her mom sits down and is like, I got abducted by the same group as everyone else.
Okay.
And then she's like, they did really horrible things to me. They inseminated me against my will.
Yeah,
that was not only hard to say, it was hard to say. That was 2 different levels there.
Yeah.
Hard to pronounce. Also hard to say. Yeah. It's a horrible thing.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, horrible experiments. And she miscarried several times until they figured out exactly how to do it, right?
Oh.
Yeah, it's really nasty. And then the first baby that actually came to term was Mac.
Oh my God.
Bet you didn't see that coming.
No, I had no idea.
And Riss is like, the math doesn't check out, because Riss is great at math.
I was gonna say it! So that means the math is perfect, right?
And so she's like, Mac is like the same age as me. And then her mom is like, well, no, because he's part furry.
Okay.
But he's also part elf, Sidhe. And her mom says, and as you know, they age much quicker. And then Riss is like, oh, yeah.
Oh, I do know that.
She just forgot that, I guess.
I guess it wasn't relevant.
I mean, everything up to this point has been a Sidhe in disguise.
Yeah.
Or a hybrid.
Right.
Why would she not think that Mac is also a hybrid? Because Mac was controlling Trinity.
Right. Which is the thing that the Sidhe do.
Yeah. So, like... I don't know why. She's just like, well, as you know, they age much quicker, which wasn't mentioned before.
Right.
And she's just like, oh, yeah, I forgot about that little
She wrote herself into a corner, and then that's the little line.
Mm-hmm. So Mac is actually 18, but he looks like he's 35. It's a little... Oh, and that they...
So he is just like the clone. He has a doubled aging process.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And she name drops 2 more movies.
Is one of them Attack of the Clones?
No. But they basically all got on the porch together with Mac, and they catch up.
Brother!
Like, yeah, what's been going on? And so this is where they name drop 2 movies, because once Riss learns that he's actually 18, but he looks much older, she's like, oh, just like the movie Big with Tom Hanks.
Sure.
And he's like, yeah, with a dash of Jack with William or Robin Williams.
Sure. Yeah.
And I'm just like, would you fucking stop, please?
Okay, question for you.
Yes.
Why did Mac have Trinity attack Riss? Why did he then lock them up? Why didn't the mom just walk in the door like she did?
I'm going to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
I actually didn't think about that, and I don't know why he had Trinity attack her.
Yeah, like what's the point of any of that if now they're just friends?
I don't know. Okay. I have no idea.
All right.
Because the idea was that he wanted her to be in on this, because he's been quote unquote a bad guy this whole time working for the organization, but really he's been a good guy. Right. Because he learned how to communicate with his mom in a coded way where no one else could pick up what they're talking about. And then she is like, because the group brainwashed him. Right. And so she taught him what was really up. And she's like, look, I've been held captive here for years and years and years. And they brainwashed you to think this way, but that's not how things are going down. Yeah. And so he wanted to get Riss in on the picture. Right. I don't know why he acted like a villain for a second.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's just for the cheap fake out.
Right. But he is the only male furry.
Right. Now, that was another comment I was going to make, but yes.
And it's also rainbow snakes, but I don't think they ever say why it's rainbow.
Mm-hmm.
He's all the types, I guess. It's really good.
He's water, fire, and grass.
He's unlocked 100% of his potential. It's a Dokkan battle joke for you folks. So, according to her mom, the organization is being headed up by one of the furries. Right? But she doesn't know who because they always disguise themselves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's like, it has to be one of the elders because the disguise is so good, I can't see through it.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
yeah.
I know who it is.
Do you?
I think.
Okay.
I'm calling it now. And you know what? Here's what we're going to
do. Write it on your phone.
I'm going to write it on my phone. I'm going to put my phone face down. And then at the end, we'll see.
The name that this disguised furry goes by is Aaron I.
Okay.
So while they're sitting on the porch talking about all this stuff, a bunch of people arrive, like all the players. Like Scott and all of his Warhound buddies arrive. The fucking giants roll up with a bunch of all the other people who are going to help out. And Riss gives like a rousing battle speech. And it was incredibly lame. It was really lame. And then everybody cheers. So he's like, we're going to go get those bastards. So, somehow they find the enemy compound. It's in Massachusetts. I don't remember how, but it's in Massachusetts. So they go to where it is, like the whole group of them, like, hey, let's go fuck them up. So they all go together. But by the time they get there, the place is deserted and everything's torched.
Oh.
So they must have known they were coming.
Yeah.
And this is like another, there's another traitor moment, I think. Like there's somebody who's betraying the fuck out of us here. But then Vanessa's tracker starts beeping. She must have been left behind for some reason. So they go looking for her through the woods and over the hills and shit. And then they run into one of the abducted harpies.
Oh.
And the abducted harpy, once it realizes they're not fucking enemies, leads them to Vanessa. They find Vanessa, and Vanessa had recently given birth, and she was dying. Baby nowhere to be found. So they guess the organization just took the baby and dumped her.
Yeah.
She dies.
Oh.
Yep.
I'm going to tell you right now, I wrote Vanessa.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. That was an okay guess, I guess. Riss, before she dies, Riss swears to her that she will get the baby back. And she's like,
we don't want to bring it back.
No, but get it, whatever.
I know.
And she's like, what's the baby's name? She said, Olivia. She's dead.
Olivia. Olive what? Olive what?
What if she just calls her that for the rest of her life? Olivia, get over here. Olivia. Come on.
How do you spell that?
So because they got one of the abducted harpies, they go back to the queen.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, we've returned her. Can you help us out? Because our interests kind of align here. Could we just team up for a second? So they make a blood oath, which is a magical oath.
Oh, that seems more than teaming up for a second. But okay.
Right. So it locks it. Well, it's a very temporary agreement.
Sure.
It's like until this organization is busted, we won't hurt each other. That's the oath.
You can't just do it?
Well, a blood oath makes sure that is impossible. Like they are bound. Their spirits are bound to protect one another
it's
until...
a mandate.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the mandate, which isn't...
it's
not a thing anymore.
I'm calling back.
For some reason, the harpies are just hanging out at this like ranch where there's a big farmhouse and a barn. And a bunch of them are chilling in the barn.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Hanging from the rafters.
But then the queen is like, you guys can also chill in the barn if you need a place to stay.
What about the house?
Because it's like off the grid or something. It's not normally where the harpies are. I think they're just off the grid for the time being.
What about the house?
So, Riss, like it says in here that the barn is like chock full of people. Because they have a lot of people.
Yeah.
And there's like, she specifically says there's no privacy.
Right. Oh no.
In the middle of the night, she gets up and then she goes to talk to the queen about something.
Yeah.
Something about her motivations are fishy, and then she learns that the queen is also about something else, but it doesn't conflict with their interests, so it doesn't matter.
I mean, that's fine.
So then she goes back to the barn, and then Scott is mad that she got up without telling him.
Yeah.
Which is another, like, possessive thing. It's like,
it's
really weird. And then she's like, well, I had to talk to the queen. He's like, I thought you had been taken or something. Like, you can't do that. And then they
Yeah.
They hate fuck.
Uh-huh.
They hardcore
Yeah.
be clapping cheeks.
Yeah.
And that's not an exaggeration. It's fucking loud. And the whole time this is happening, I'm just imagining everyone staring at the ceiling trying to sleep.
It's that roommate in college thing. Like, you're trying to be quiet, but like,
And it's just like, and I'm just like, everybody's trying to sleep. What the hell are you doing? There's no walls. It's an open barn.
Animals.
Yeah, and it's a hot and heavy sex scene. It's the only one in the book. I have to say, I think the romance in I Married a Lizard Man was way better than this book.
That set standards.
Yeah, man.
It really did.
It was so good.
It set standards for like, we've compared every romance novel to that.
Yeah,
because
it was
that one, like, it has consent.
It was such a solid book.
Yeah.
It's great. This one was really disappointing. All the male characters that she is interested in seem creepy and controlling.
This has nothing to do with the actual book and only to do with the joke that we've been making.
Right.
But she is a furry and she's banging a dog.
Yes.
Yeah. That's that's the joke.
It's great. It's great.
Yeah.
Oh, there's also a bit about how harpies are born. They are furries that lost control of their rage.
Oh.
That's what harpies are.
Okay. That's kind of cool.
And harpies can't be born biologically.
Right, they have to be made by a furry.
Exactly.
Who loses their rage.
So that's why they
lose control.
Oh, that was the motivation clash, is because the queen went to this organization saying, "Can you, like the elf people,
can you help make a way for us to?" Yeah.
And they still want that.
Right.
So there's conflicting interests, but she's like, "Don't worry, they betrayed me, so I'm going to take them out."
Yeah.
Like, we'll figure it out on our own, but, because they already did it once. The one they found that had been abducted had already given birth to something. So they did it once.
Right.
So somehow they figure out that the bad guys moved their operation to an underground military base. I don't remember how. I don't care. But they find it. They go to it. Riss and company sneak into the base with the help of Mac, because Mac's one of them.
Right.
And he basically does the Chewbacca in handcuffs thing.
Mm-hmm,
And he's like, "Oh, look, I captured the troublemaker furry. I captured some more hounds for the experimentation.
Yep.
And I also got the fucking Harpy Queen. Isn't that something? Just let all these super dangerous people in, unsupervised except by me." And they sneak in there. And once they get in, they just start tearing ass through there. And just killing everybody. Super bloody, great. I mean, it's great description for these battles. I actually appreciate it. This is like the only actual interesting battle in the whole book, I think, is when they're tearing through this base.
Does Scott get disarmed 5 times?
No, he doesn't. He actually holds on to his weapons pretty good.
Yeah, I don't care then.
But they're fighting all the clone Sidhe elf people, right? That are all fucking evil and brainwashed. So one of the harpies is able to smell out. It's weird. Oh no, that's how they found the military underground base, is because she drank some of Vanessa's blood.
Oh.
And she is able to track her daughter through her blood. She can smell her. So she tracks down the daughter to find the underground base, and when they get inside the base, she smells to figure out where the daughter is in the base.
Would have been better to have the dog do it, but okay.
Yeah, well, whatever. Whatever. And so they find the babies in the nursery.
Why'd you say it like that?
The babies. I was thinking of Z Frank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Babies. The true facts about whatever. He always says babies.
Babies.
At that moment, one of the harpies stabs the queen in the back, killing her.
Huh.
Another traitor.
Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
It's shocking.
That's 6?
It's a lot of traitors.
I think it's 6.
The traitor harpy turns out to be Stacia, Riss's mentor, one of the elder furries. I mentioned her once at the beginning.
Yeah, you did.
And she is able to put on a glamour so powerful it hides her tattoo, which Riss thought was impossible.
But it created a tattoo. Why couldn't it hide one?
Yeah, but that was the Sidhe. That was different.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't. And her mentor is like, "Hi, you dumb bitch."
Fair.
Everyone's calling her a dumb bitch.
Fair.
And she had been behind everything. She had organized the mortals to do the experiments and everything, and
the abductions, and
her plan was to disguise herself as the queen to take over the most dangerous arcane creatures,
The Harpies?
The Harpies, yeah.
Okay.
I forgot what they were called for a second. To take over the Harpies, and at the same time, run this mortal organization to drive a divide between mortals and arcane, to cause chaos.
Right.
And eventually, she wanted to become queen of the Furries, which the Furries were democratic. There is no leader. They're just the Council of Elders, and it's popular vote does what they do. So she's like, I want to become a queen of the Furries, but I'm going to act as the queen of the Harpies to gain more power until I can do that.
Right.
And then create a divide between mortals, and because she doesn't like mortals, and so that's what happens. During the fight, because they fight, Riss almost turns into a Harpy because she is so
Because she almost
upset.
loses her control.
Yeah, she's really angry, and then her mom comes in. She's like, "Don't," and she doesn't.
So what's the downside
to being a Harpy?
Yeah.
Harpies, nobody really likes them. They're kind of outcasts, sort of.
Why?
Because they're really angry all the time, and they're dangerous, and they also drink human blood. I think that's a thing.
Okay, well, lead with that.
I'm pretty sure they have to sustain themselves on living blood.
Okay,
something
that's
like that.
different then. That makes more sense.
No, her mom actually does more than that. Riss has a bandage on her leg from a serious injury, and then her mom tries to keep her from raging out, and it's not working. So she grabs the bandage and rips it off, and starts like punching the wound and shit.
That would just make me angry.
Well, that's what I thought. I was like, that would just piss me off so much. But in the book, it says that the pain
overrides the anger.
Yeah, drives away the anger. She's in so much agony she can't even think to be angry.
Okay.
So that's what saves her. And then the mom fights, and then the mom seems like she dies, but she doesn't, and they kill Stacia with the help of Scott.
Oh, yeah. Well,
and it's
everybody lives happily.
It's great. They win the end.
Themed.
Here's the last thing written in the book.
Ooh.
This is Riss talking. I have enough strength of self and force of will to continue kicking ass in a big bad way. After all, I was one red hot fury. That is quintessential. What are we? Some kind of Suicide Squad? Just right at the end.
They Dracula Untolded it.
Did they?
They set up like sequel bait.
Man.
They're just like, yeah, but unfortunately, I'm going to say this book got a sequel.
So there's a few things I want to say about this book.
Yeah.
You might disagree with me.
Okay.
But I don't think I would call this a bad book. I really don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
But it had enough going. It was well paced, I think. There was enough action intermingled with important story beats and stuff. And the drama wasn't interrupting important shit. It was when they had downtime.
Okay.
So I don't think it's a bad book. I just think it feels very much like this is an early book.
Sure.
So
she's getting her chops.
She's not experienced yet.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fucking author, so I can't talk shit about someone else's writing. But that's what we do.
But it's what we do.
It's what we do.
We make a show about it.
So I don't think it's a bad book. It's definitely not for me. And there's a lot of flavors of her writing that really frustrate me.
I can see the bones.
Yes.
It's got bones. I didn't read it, obviously. I'm hearing your mildly, not mildly, your disinterested opinion.
Yeah.
And that I don't want to say it like tainted this experience because that's how we do the show. But I definitely think that this book would be better read than listen to someone describe it.
Yes, definitely. Because there's a whole mystery element to it.
Right.
And there's a lot more players in the story than I talked to you about because most of them didn't matter.
Right.
It's just...
That's the thing with mysteries is you have red herrings and then there's just no point to them eventually.
The thing that frustrates me is that I believe if you're going to write a mystery book, you should give people all the tools to solve it.
Right.
And this book several times leaves out information until the last minute.
Yeah.
It's like you can't figure it out.
Yeah.
You can guess. You can say like, oh, I think it's probably this person. But
it's not based on evidence. It's based on prior like trope knowledge and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that frustrated me.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, Stacia ended up being the person because.
Right.
She just came out of nowhere and is like, I'm the evil person. Like she twirled a mustache and shit. And I was like, I never would have actually guessed that because there's nothing that really points to her. She just shows up as the bad guy.
Yeah.
So
they wouldn't have known it was her if she didn't kill the queen.
Exactly. That frustrates me. Her name dropping random movies frustrates me.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really, really wink shit. Like the author makes a pun in a description, and then in parentheses it just says "ha."
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, what?
I do that in my notes for this show.
Yeah. I'm like, why
but that's not for anybody to publish. We have a rating on our show. Our rating consists of 5 levels, lowest being toilet paper, which is not worth the material it's printed on. We have a shampoo bottle, which is worth reading if there's nothing else to read, you're on the pod or whatever. There is an IKEA manual, which is competently written or entertaining, usually not both. We have a Kindle pick, which is worth picking up like discounted or electronically, and then hardcover, which is an instant classic. So, Alpha Furion.
Thank you.
What is your rating for Red Hot Furry?
I would have to give it a shampoo bottle.
Okay.
It is competently written, I believe, but I really didn't like it. So that's going to knock my rating down.
Yeah.
But if you want to enhance your experience, just change the word fury to furry.
Right. Totally makes it so much better.
Yeah. It's great.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sure, I am very confident there's a lot of fans of this book series. And I don't want to offend anyone by my ignorance of the storyline, but it did not grip me at all. Past the first chapter, it
seemed very basic.
It was very difficult for me to retain
repetitive
information. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't really like any of the characters.
Yeah, that's fair.
The main character was always pissed off, which I get it. That's kind of the point.
But it's not what you want to read.
Yeah.
It's not what you want to read.
Exactly. It's a little obnoxious.
Yeah.
Because like everyone she talks about is either a bitch or an asshole.
Right.
And it's like, this is a toxic character. I don't want to I don't want to follow this character.
Yeah.
And the romance I don't think the romance is good. I think that the male characters are either really, really creepy and controlling, or they're like, I don't know. The only male character I actually liked was Mac.
Okay.
And it was still a little bit because I don't know. Sometimes he acts weird, and I'm like, why did you act that way?
Yeah.
Like nobody's even watching. Why are you acting evil now?
Yeah.
It's a little weird. There was definitely some Riddick syndrome here, where
it felt like it.
Yeah, the main character Riss is just written to be an absolute badass.
Yeah,
and is so. This isn't the author or other people commenting on how hot Riss is. The entire book is from her perspective.
So it's her commenting on how hot she is.
She talks a lot about how hot she is.
Yeah, yeah.
And I hate it. And she also taught, like, there was so Scott's younger brother, which I didn't talk about because he's not important. He's one of those characters, but he's one of the characters where you're like, I guessed reading the book he was the traitor to the family, but he wasn't. But he was super uber creepy. And he hit on Riss really hard, kissed her without her permission, no consent.
Yeah.
Super creepy, but she would be talking about how creeped out she is and uncomfortable, and she just wanted to get out of there. But then she took one look at his abs and she's like, God damn, he's so hot.
Wow.
And yeah, that happens so often.
Wow.
That happens so often. And I'm like, I just don't like this character.
That's like the Bo Raddish Christmas Baby, right? Didn't they do something like that?
Something like that, yeah. So it's like the main character is very unlikable to me. The Mac was the only character I actually enjoyed.
Sure.
He was a very roguish, debonair, smart, talented. I mean, he was like an amalgamation of like a bunch of different races in experimentation. So he's going to be awesome. He can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
That's about it. Shampoo bottle.
That's fine. That's fine. Based on your description of the book, I would tend to agree.
If there's any fans of the book series listening, if I got things wrong, I'm sure I did. I'm sure I got a lot of things wrong. Go ahead and write to us at apage2far@gmail.com. That's our email.
Let us know.
We answer all emails, whether on the show or just by writing back. We'll most likely write you back and talk about it on the show.
Yeah. If you don't want us to talk about it, please say so.
Yeah. If we get an email about something, we will most likely talk about it on the show. But if you don't want us to, then just say so.
Correct.
We had someone comment on our YouTube with some criticisms, and he said he was going to send us an email to go more in depth about them.
Right.
Because we were a little confused about them. But if he writes in, we'll definitely talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is a great segue. Check us out on YouTube.
Yeah.
We post all of our regular episodes on YouTube. It's kind of a shitty platform, but it's another way of reaching people. If that's easier for you, then that works. We have socials. We're also on Instagram /apage2far and on Twitter @apage2far.
Yep.
We have a Patreon. We have a lot of bonus stuff on there.
We have so much bonus content now.
We have a lot of stuff on there now. And for like $5, you can have access to like 6 commentaries, fucking 7 bonus episodes. All these numbers are wrong, I think.
Yeah, no, all those numbers are wrong, but we have a lot of bonus movie commentaries, outtakes, which are always great. We have footnotes, which are kind of just like if we go on a tangent and it's a little bit too far to keep in the episode, we post those occasionally. We have another one to go up here soon.
We have one coming up soon. It's how you broke your arm.
I did break my arm.
So you can learn all about
still broken.
that. Yep. Hashtag Boba lives.
Yep. Hashtag themed. Hashtag Red Hot Furry.
I like it. That gives me bad thoughts.
Yeah, it does.
I don't like that.
Nope. We can just kind of see how long just keep this going.
What?
Just see how long people will listen.
No.
Just talk.
I have to edit this shit. No.
Yeah, but I mean, you don't have to edit this. You can just. I mean, all you have to.
It's going to be a bigger file, and Adobe. It's going to slow down Adobe. I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, but how much would it slow it down? I mean, in the percentage
I would
wise,
have to sit.
What's another minute and a half of talking?
It's like it'd be an extra 2 minutes.
So a minute and a half of talking equates to an extra 2 minutes. That means that Adobe takes about 3 hours to compile.
That's correct.
Okay,
it takes a long time.
Okay,
so we should just end it.
But I really don't want to.
But we already said all the shit, though.
We did. I mean, yeah, and I have nothing else to add.
Me neither. So we should end it.
Okay. All right. Fine. Let's end it.
I changed my mind. I don't want to end it.
You know what?
Have you seen?